past year, we added thousands of new jobs, and we balanced the state budget. We balanced it without raising taxes, without massive layoffs, without budget tricks. Now, one of those principles is that people create jobs, not the government. In the past, however, some thought that the government did create jobs, and that's how they justified raising taxes to pay for the unsustainable expansion of government. Importantly, we improved the climate for job creators here in Wisconsin over the past year. Today, 94% of our job creators believe that Wisconsin is heading in the right direction. That compares to just 10% who thought the same thing 2 years ago. And a majority of those employers say they're going to grow in 2012. I think you'll agree with me on this. It is unacceptable to think that any man or woman who has served our country would return home and not be able to find a job. I've made the full employment of our returning veterans a #1 priority of the state's Department of Veterans Affairs. To create more jobs, employers told us they also need help cutting through the red tape of government. Tonight, I'm announcing new members to the Small Business Regulatory Review Board, which has the authority to review every rule in all of our state agencies. I'll direct our agencies to work with them to remove antiquated and unnecessary regulations that pose a threat to creating new jobs. Heritage in Wisconsin is also built on fiscal restraint. You see, one of the most important parts of our state constitution affirms that frugality in government leads to freedom and prosperity for our people. That's worth repeating. Frugality in government leads to freedom and prosperity for our people. The important pledge I made was to not raise your taxes. That's even more important in a tough economy. Now, many of us believe that the $3 billion tax increase imposed a few years ago actually led to the massive job losses in 2010. In contrast, we enacted a budget in 2011 that lowered the overall tax burden in Wisconsin. That's exactly what all this hard work is for, to allow our schools, as well as our state and local governments, to work better for the people we serve. Down to most parts, at least in most parts of the state, is a sense of respect. Most of the people I met in the state care not only for their family and friends, but for the well-being of their neighbors and of their fellow citizens. That's the spirit of Wisconsin. I've seen it in the faces of volunteers who show up to help after tornadoes in places like Maryland, or La Crosse, or Marinette. And I've always seen it in the faces of our men and women in uniform, like those we met earlier tonight from the 724. Moving forward, I believe that spirit of Wisconsin will help us improve the state of our economy, the state of our budget, the state of our schools, and most importantly, I believe the spirit of Wisconsin will help us all improve the lives of each and every citizen in our great state. Now is the time for action. Now is the time to get our state working again. Now is the time to move Wisconsin forward.
Truth is that the state of our state is divided and broken. Wisconsin, previously recognized nationally as a leader in public education, health care, and good government, is now polarized and broken. We're among the top in the nation for damaging cuts to public education and the university system. And we are the only state in the entire country that lost jobs each and every month for the last 6 months. We didn't hear about that tonight. Governor Walker claimed tonight he's turning things around. Let's review the past year. Cuts to public education. The District Administrators Association said 2/3 of the schools they had increased class sizes or cut back on course offerings, crowded classrooms, job losses, rising tuitions, family losing their health care. Governor Walker certainly has turned Wisconsin around, but unfortunately, we're headed in the wrong direction.
Tonight, what we heard was not a State of the State address, but a State of Delusion address. 6 straight months of job losses, tax increases on seniors and working families. The tax increases occurred through reductions in the homestead tax credit and earned income tax credit, $400 million in fund raids, $111 million in fee increases, $107 million in tuition increases and credit card spending, $2.36 billion worth of tax credits to big corporations and special interests at the expense of investments in education for our school children, education for our college students, education for working men and women who need to get the advanced training to fill the job that manufacturers are looking for in our state. That is what we need to have an investment in. And that is what has failed to happen. The governor's policies and the Republican policies have moved Wisconsin backwards. Since the passage of the Republican budget, it is clear that Republican policies are failing. We saw the recent numbers on jobs lost. 3,900 jobs lost last month and over 30,000 jobs lost in the last 6 months. This headline from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel says it all. And you can contrast it with what's happening nationally, where the national economy is gaining jobs, Wisconsin is losing jobs. We're hemorrhaging jobs. Republicans prefer to give tax breaks to the wealthy corporations and special interests at the expense of programs like technical college training that provides training for people to get jobs.